Director Hanson.
Here.
Director Valentine.
Here.
Director Parker.
Here.
Director Allred here. So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Unanimous. Community comments and any public comments, items not on the agenda.
Good afternoon, board. There is one flyer that I put at your seat that we got the announcement after our board packet was packed. That is for the East Kern Community Backpack Drive, and the airport is a drop-off for that. One of the big sponsors on that contacted us is Terrigen. And so if anybody wants to drop off a backpack, they can do it here during our normal business hours. And then there are a couple of other community announcements. Another location in Cal City is doing another backpack drive, as well as in July. Again, just reminding everybody that Task is going to have their grand opening. And that is for the announcements in the board packet. We did just finish off the Far Out event. I'll have all the details and who placed in what categories on the next meeting, because they just had their closing ceremony yesterday. We did go double in size, triple in teams that launched, and we did go international with this event because we had a team from Poland, Canada, and several U.S. teams.
It's excellent. I was out there seeing the one launch on Saturday.
Do you want me to?
You can speak from here if you like.
Just wanted to let everyone know that we lost our good friend and Bill Deaver on Friday, May 30th. He passed away in Bakersfield. And of course, you know, he served on this board. He served the Mojave Chamber of Commerce. He moved to Mojave when he was in 1948. I think he must have been like 12 years old. He loved the trains, and he often told stories about being down at the train yard as a young teenager. And he rode the bus from Mojave to Antelope Valley High. That's where he graduated high school. We didn't have a high school then. And he just loved the history here. And he was our local historian. And he and his wife, Billy, had been married for 61 years. She passed away in 2020. And they met when he was constable here. And she also worked for the sheriff's department. And the rest is history. They got married then. But they bought the Mojave Desert News. He was the publisher and wrote, you know, he just wrote stories all the time. He wrote for, of course, the Mojave Desert News, and then he wrote for the Antelope Valley Press. And he's going to be missed greatly. He was 89, and the last time I talked to him, he said to me, "Oh, I wish I was younger. I have so many things I still want to do." And I thought, what a great attitude to have. But Steve Rushford went to see him just a couple of weeks ago, and he had really gone downhill. He couldn't even speak. And it was so sad because, you know, he was very chatty and always had great stories and memories to share with everyone. He's was just an iconic figure here. And he named all the roads here at Mojave Airport long ago when he was constable. And he was just a wealth of knowledge. So we miss you, Bill.
Thank you, Kathy. All right, on to the consent agenda. Minutes of the regular board meeting and check register dated May 28th.
Motion to approve A and B on the consent.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Vote carries unanimously. There are no action items today, so we go directly to reports. Director of Administration.
Good afternoon. These are the financials for the month of April. Bank balance increased $325,000. We received a large payment from Kern County for the property taxes for everyone paying in April. Operating revenue were 86%. Operating expenses were at 77%. Fuel sales, 78,000 gallons. AR, as of 5/29, the only one on over at 90 days was High Desert. They did make a payment since we released the reports of $100, so we're down to $51.30. So hopefully by the next month, they will be down to zero. So we were happy to see that $100 payment come in. Fitness center, 740 members.
They're in the black.
Yep.
I was impressed.
No, they are in the black and actually continuing to grow. So we,
Yeah.
we did buy the one new machine. They are, we're working with them right now. They want to improve the treadmills next. That's
Really? Awesome.
since it has been, we haven't bought any new equipment. So that's what we've told them, as you guys get in the black and we have the revenue, we'll reinvest into the equipment
Awesome.
as we see fit.
Thank you, man.
Mhm.
All right, Director of Facilities.
Good afternoon, directors. To continue on with our introduction to our facility staff members, I've got a couple of folks here. These are our utility workers, as I call them. These are the equipment operators, groundskeepers, firefighters that run around and take care of all the flare-ups and the things that pop up that are unforeseen and bounce between projects. They're really utility in every aspect. They do a little bit of everything here. We are missing one gentleman. I apologize for that. I'll bring him back. He was not able to meet with us today, but I'll bring him back at a later date. We've got Mike Dimitrov here. Mike's been with the airport for 6 years. He previously worked for Kern County Public Works. Help me, Mike, I'm sorry. He was a county maintenance worker for a number of years before general services. That's what I'm lacking. My brain's missing on. Worked for general services in Kern County for a number of years before he came to Mojave. And you'll see him in the sweeper, water truck. He's constantly out mowing, bouncing around in different areas, taking care of whatever comes up. Raul, as I said, was not able to join us today. And then we have Ricky Livesey, who is actually our newest employee. He's been here 2 months. Raul, who is not here today, has been here 7 months. Ricky comes not from a maintenance background, but what he brings to the table is an excellent attitude and very willing to do any and everything that we ask him to. Very willing to learn. He's very eager to learn. He didn't have a maintenance background. He actually came with a security background, but came very highly recommended, and we really liked his attitude, and that's why he's here, and it's paying dividends. Ricky and Raul and Mike recently prepared for the 5010 inspection we had last week, and Ricky would come in every day and say to me, well, we did 6,000 steps today. And the next day they said 12,000 steps or six miles today. And in 5 days, I said, after he kept telling me that a couple of days in a row, I said, when you go to the meeting, I want to know how many miles you walked getting the vegetation off the pavement on the airfield. In 5 days, they did 80 miles on foot. So when I speak of the 5010 inspection, which is at the bottom of my list, they deserve some credit for the fact that they're out there on the pavement in the heat by hand 5 days in a row getting ready, and they did a phenomenal job. And so I'll leave
I
that.
didn't realize it took that much. Wow. Right there, hand cutting the.
It's very difficult when we get, so what we've had lately is where they're springing, we have weeds that spring up in the pavement, and we don't always approach it that way, but sometimes it is the most efficient way or effective way to do it when you got to walk out in the middle of the pavement to catch one. Sometimes equipment isn't efficient, but if we can spray, we spray. We do run the mower, but sometimes it just takes, you have to get out there by hand and do it.
Just take a shovel.
Yeah, getting around the lights, getting around the signs, there's really. In addition to that, on my report, I did have down that we have been proceeding with GA hangar repairs. We're finalizing repairs on 2 hangars that will be ready to rent for next month, 965 and 970. We replaced all the lighting in both hangars. Robert Lathrop replaced a missing ridge cap on 970, fixed we actually had a little bit of rain earlier today, and that roof does not. Cantilever overhead doors that are on those hangars. And they've done a phenomenal job pulling it apart, rebuilding it, replacing rigging, replacing chains, gears, adjusting, aligning, and actually replacing the drive, the operator winch on the hangar door itself. And did that on both hangars. They are both working very well. I'm very impressed with that. And as I said, those will be ready to go for next month. And just a brief update on our project to replace the emergency generator at the tower. That the generator itself is under production and scheduled to ship out to us September 23rd. So looking forward to getting that project going. And then the final thing I had, and I'm sure that Ariel will probably talk about it in more detail, but I threw it on my report just because I wanted to give a little credit to some of the guys. But last week we did have our 5010 inspection, our DOT 5010 inspection. You know, they're looking at marking and safety elements, markings, lights, signs, general condition. There were no, I drove around with him. Ariel was
Dealing with an incident.
So happy to do that. It was actually beneficial that one of my staff went with us, and I thought that paid some dividends to have him go around and be exposed. No recommendations, no formal recommendations, no deficiencies noted. And the reason I put it on my report is I think that's a win for the entire team.
Sure.
One of the things that we talked about when I was driving around with the inspector was, you know, how far we've come over the years and how he's really not seeing anything, and signs look great. And I'm not saying that to give credit because my staff puts the signs out. What I will point out is it's a team effort. Ops is out there every night doing inspections. Just about every day I see inspection reports in my email first thing in the morning. We're not getting recommendations because the team and the machine are catching things before they become issues. And subject to any questions.
Fantastic. Thanks, Floyd.
So much better to
Thank
be
you,
in
guy.
maintenance mode than emergency mode.
Exactly. And that's
It's cheaper, it's cost efficient, it's easier on everybody. And I think we're finally there.
Yeah, with the inspections that they do, I mean, in the past, we would try to find, we don't know everything to look for. We would try to find everything that we possibly could, and you only have a limited set of eyes. You've got very well-trained staff. You've got dozens of pairs of eyes, and very little is missed. It's reported right away, and then it's fixed right away. So it's a whole team effort.
Anything. That's amazing.
It was a good day.
Thank you, sir. CEO. Mr. Smith.
Yes, good afternoon, lady and gentlemen of the board. A few things to just update you on. We had what I believe was an exceptional meeting with Congressman Fong and members of the Navy from the local area. The Admiral came down, the commanders out of NOC WD came over. Edwards was supposed to be here as well. There was some reason that the staff couldn't make it down. Congressman Fong wants to have these meetings quarterly, and he would like to have them in Mojave. It's a central location for all the military, and it keeps us firmly on the map.
Right.
Yeah, when I asked him if he wanted to just have a military-only session, he looked at me and he said, no, I need you in the room. So that's not me, Dave Smith, that's me, Mojave Air and Spaceport. So I think that was very valuable. Had a great event with GoBiz at a grant awarding ceremony at NTPS, where we were asked to keynote the event for them. 4 upstart young firms received grants from California. Our grant packages, by the way, this is a separate topic, is being delayed slightly. There's been some miscommunication about the submission. The good news is they're not no's. The bad news is we're probably going to wait another 3 to 6 months to get data. And that's on our 3 facility grants that went forward. So we're still working that. Floyd already touched on the inspection. Was very pleasant to meet with the inspector and have an office call with them and turn them over to Floyd, as at the same time, Ariel was dealing, and the ops team, actually the entire team, with a negative test consequence where a system was destroyed, but Mojave proved its worth as a test facility. The safety features were in place. The fire department responded just as I would have expected them to. And of course, no injury, no fatality, but there was a lost system out there last week. So more to follow on that as we get the details from the safety side of things. But I was very pleased with how the Air and Spaceport reacted to that mishap. And let's see, subject to your questions, I think that gets us pretty much up to speed.
I have none.
Great.
Mr. Parker?
No questions. I just have a comment on the encroachment on the airport. It's getting crazy. If you go out 58, the solar fields are all the way to 9 Mile Hill. There's new power poles popping up everywhere. Thank goodness they're not in line with our runway, but I don't know if there's anything more we can do about it to keep them and stave them off, but our pilots are probably getting less and less options of where to land if something goes wrong on a flat piece of real estate. Agree. It's getting scary. I mean,
so I can take that for action in my prior duties. I worked very closely with the Planning Commission and the Building Commissions down in Palmdale and Lancaster. And we can further that relationship partnering with Floyd and his amazing contacts in East Kern. So we can get a little more proactive on that, make certain we are working towards complementary business participation.
I would like to see that. I noticed what Andrew notices too, significantly.
Yeah.
And there's no interference from any reflection from these panels, is there on approach, departure?
I haven't noticed it when I've come in and out, but you just, when you actually drive around seeing all these new rust-colored poles going everywhere.
Down Hope.
And when you're in the pattern, if you're east of the airport in the pattern and you have to ditch, you're going into a field of glass. There's no more flat desert out there to ditch into. There's a few roads you could pick, but something bigger and faster, they're going to take out 1,000 panels.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's something they take into consideration, emergency situations from an airport. It's, normal operations, yeah, but
even north of the pole, 4 years ago, they extended the height of the high tension lines out there. They put another setup on top.
Ones on Holt are 140 feet high.
Yeah, and they never considered us when they did that. They just rammed it through, and now you're just seeing more and more poles coming in. And like I said, just less options as a pilot of, It's something I'm always thinking about when I fly. I'm looking around to see, okay, if I lose an engine now, what am I going to do?
Yeah, where am I going to go?
The options are getting a whole lot less around here. And Cal City's the same way.
Yeah.
The whole north side of the airfield at Cal City now is all solar fields. And that's right over the pattern as well. And you're low, you're slow, a lot less options.
Yeah, I think being proactive on this subject is the key here.
Yes.
You know, they have public workshops on occasion for some of these different projects. Not so much now, but they did, seems like earlier, years ago. But the workshops, project was pretty much cemented in. It was a
Right.
done deal at that point. I'm not too sure. Yeah, I mean, on the front end of it, it's, and the county at one time, because that was a huge concern, and
Oh, yeah.
we had some impact with where they put towers, where they put lines.
Yep.
Rezoning of some land,
Mhm.
looking out for the pilot. and
Well, I
operation.
remember Dick Rattan and Stu going out in airplanes
Yeah.
and just, you know, saying, okay, if we had an engine out, what would happen? Right here. And that's when they were putting the great big tall towers and
Yeah.
they moved them.
Yeah.
Yeah, those ones on hold,
Yeah, the ones on hold, that made me
Right.
furious.
Well, if you drive out 58, they're coming up
Well,
out
they're-
there too.
Yeah.
There was a dry lake out there and they're on the dry lake.
Yeah.
I thought they were protected. Those things are ancient.
Just about coming into Mojave in any direction, there's solar field construction going on. Just something to think about. Keep it on the radar. In case something, you know, they come up with something crazy to put right on our flight path.
Money.
Anything else, Dave?
That's all from my desk. Back to you.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, we have no board committees. Move on to director comments on items not on the agenda.
I have something. Plain Crazy Saturday will be June 21st. And our speaker is going to be Robert Garnica. And he's retired from the U.S. Air Force. He was a crew chief on SR-71s and also U-2s. And so that's what he's going to talk about. And he's a friend of Alexander, one of our board members, and met him down at Blackbird Park, and he's a docent there. And he wants to have an open cockpit day there sometime in conjunction with Plain Crazy Saturday. So maybe we'll talk about that on the 21st. But I think you all would enjoy hearing him. He's very enthusiastic. And being a docent at Blackbird Park, if you've never been there, it's really cool. And he, like I say, he's enthusiastic. He loved his job, and he will share some of the, you know, kind of inside stories. I'm going to bring a model of the SR that Bob Gilliland signed for me, and some other things to do with the SR-71. It was really a great airplane. So hope you all can make it on June 21st. He'll be speaking right here in this room at 11 a.m.
Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you.
I've got one real quick. The oleanders are great. Man, they look beautiful.
They
huh?
do when you drive in.
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah, they're,
Can I trim the ones just as you go into the hall ambulance gate? Because when I turn in there, I creep around so I don't get my nose cut off.
We are working on our new landscape contract, and
Oh,
we will,
okay.
as soon as
Okay.
that's resolved.
I think they're beautiful. I love them. I don't want to destroy any of them, but I'd like that maybe one or two
They'll
of
go
them
back.
just to be a little shorter.
It's part of our plan. That Belshaw entrance will be included
Yeah,
in the new
just so I can
contract for
see.
regular trimming.
Yeah, that corner as you are turning into that gate, you know, there's a corner there and people just fly down that road and you're like, wow, nobody's coming. And you turn real fast.
hey, Dave, I might mention, that might be some good photos to capture the entrance of that. I mean, that's beautiful, and we don't get that year round, but
It's
this is
true.
an exceptional
Yeah,
year.
They're
it's the-
really blue.
We'll have it for a few weeks this time of year, and
Yeah. Anyway, that's all I have to say.
No, I like them. I've got them at home
And then
too.
the cleanup mess starts.
I know, I know.
It's
And
never
then
ending.
watering, and I know. But,
Yeah.
but we're reaping the benefit of it. It looks beautiful.
All righty, at this time, we will proceed to closed session. We